The starship Reclaimer hung motionless against the obsidian backdrop of deep space, its hull gleaming like polished graphite under the distant starlight. Captain Emily Rodriguez stood at the bridge's observation deck, her reflection ghosting over the transparent aluminum viewport. She'd seen her share of derelict vessels, but this one was different. A wounded leviathan that seemed to pulse with untold secrets. "Sensor sweep complete," called Michael Chen from the scanning station. His fingers danced across holographic displays, parsing through layers of electromagnetic data that would have overwhelmed lesser systems. "The energy signatures are, well, they're impossible." Emily turned, her cybernetic eye, a sophisticated augmentation that had saved her life during the Proxima conflict, zooming in on the holographic representation of the alien vessel. Its hull was a complex lattice of materials that defied current understanding, scared, and pitted from what appeared to be multiple high-energy impacts. "Impossible is just a word for technology we haven't understood yet," she responded, a slight smile cutting across her weathered features. The derelict ship floated like a wounded shark, its massive silhouette blocking out entire sections of starfields. Most salvage crews would have turned away the moment their scanners detected the unusual energy readings. The Krell were notorious for leaving behind technological traps, vessels that looked like salvage, but could vaporize an entire crew with a single quantum discharge. But Emily Rodriguez wasn't most salvage operators. Her crew of 5 represented the absolute pinnacle of human salvage engineering. Each member had been handpicked, their skills complementing each other like precision instruments in a complex machine. Michael Chen's scanning abilities were legendary in salvage circles. He could read the electromagnetic whispers of a dead ship like most people read a children's book. "Michael, run a quantum resonance scan," Emily commanded. "I want to know every millimeter of that ship's exterior composition." The holographic display flickered, transforming the alien vessel into a 3-dimensional wireframe of incredible complexity. Layers of data began to cascade: material compositions, energy distributions, structural integrity readings that made no sense by current scientific understanding. Jack Wilson, the team's lead engineer, walked onto the bridge. His environmental suit was a marvel of human engineering. Adaptive nanomaterials that could reconfigure themselves to protect against multiple threat environments. "Captain," he said, his voice carrying the calm certainty of someone who had survived more impossible scenarios than most would believe, "those energy signatures are broadcasting on wavelengths we've never seen before." Emily nodded. The Reclaimer wasn't just another salvage vessel. It was a mobile research platform, equipped with technologies that pushed the boundaries of human understanding. Experimental quantum interfaces, adaptive material reconstruction systems, and neural link technologies that allowed the crew to interface directly with alien technological systems. "Rachel," she called to the communications specialist, "prepare quantum communication buffers. If we detect any unexpected transmission patterns, I want them isolated and analyzed immediately." The ship's interior hummed with potential, a living ecosystem of human innovation, ready to be unleashed on the mysterious alien vessel. The Krell vessel had been discovered in a particularly treacherous region of space known as the Magellan Drift. It was a graveyard of technological failures, a region where multiple galactic civilizations had attempted, and failed, to establish technological footholds. Ships disappeared here. Research stations went dark. But this vessel was different. It wasn't just abandoned. It looked like it had been deliberately left behind. Preliminary scans suggest the ship's primary systems are in a state of quantum suspension, Michael reported. His voice carried a hint of excitement that he tried, and failed, to suppress. Whatever happened here, it wasn't a simple mechanical failure. Emily studied the holographic display, her cybernetic eye analyzing details that would escape normal human perception. Something about this vessel felt different. It wasn't just another salvage job. This was an opportunity, a potential technological breakthrough that could rewrite humanity's understanding of interstellar engineering. "Prepare the initial boarding team," she said, her decision made. "We're going in." The reclaimer's external lights began to adjust, casting precise illumination across the alien vessel's mysterious hull. First contact protocols were initiated, quantum shields at maximum readiness. Whatever secrets this ship held, Emily Rodriguez and her crew were determined to uncover them. The hunt was on. The boarding shuttle detached from the reclaimer with surgical precision, its hull shimmering with adaptive camouflage that could shift molecular configurations in milliseconds. Jack Wilson gripped the control interfaces, his neural link crackling with anticipation. Every movement was calculated, every system prepared for the unknown. Approaching primary access point, he announced, his voice steady despite the mission's inherent risks. Rachel Martinez, the communications specialist, monitored quantum interference patterns that danced across her holographic displays like living lightning. The alien vessel's exterior was more than just a shell. It was a complex system that seemed to breathe with its own alien metabolism. Michael Chen's voice cut through the tension. Energy readings are fluctuating in patterns I've never seen before. This isn't standard technological decay. It's like the ship is thinking. The shuttle's external sensors mapped the derelict vessel's surface, an intricate landscape of metallic networks that defied conventional understanding. Where most would see random complexity, Jack saw potential. His mind raced with possibilities, neural implants processing information at speeds that would make traditional computers look like abacuses. Initiating quantum resonance breach, Jack commanded, his fingers dancing across adaptive interface panels. The boarding team wore custom-designed environmental suits, not just protective gear, but mobile research platforms. Each suit was a marvel of human engineering, capable of analyzing molecular structures, filtering exotic radiation, and providing real-time computational support. They weren't just entering an alien vessel, they were preparing to communicate with it. A low vibration began to pulse through the shuttle. Michael's scanners went wild, displaying impossible data streams that seemed to rewrite themselves in real time. "Captain," he called to Emily Rodriguez, who was monitoring from the reclaimer, "these energy signatures are. They're responding to our approach." Emily's cybernetic eyes zoomed in on the data, its advanced optics parsing information faster than any human brain could process. "Maintain approach vector. We're not here to disturb. We're here to understand." The shuttle's exterior began to interact with the alien vessel in ways that defied traditional physics. Molecular interfaces seemed to ripple, creating temporary access points that appeared and disappeared in microsecond intervals. Jack's neural link was working overtime, interpreting patterns that no previous salvage mission had ever encountered. "The ship's exterior is more like a living membrane than a traditional hull," Rachel observed, her voice a mixture of scientific excitement and cautious respect. "It's responding to our quantum signatures, creating temporary pathways." Jack adjusted the shuttle's approach, using techniques that blended human intuition with advanced computational modeling. Where traditional salvage crews would have used brute force methods, this team was conducting a delicate dance of technological communication. A sudden burst of energy cascaded across the shuttle's sensors. Michael's displays erupted with a kaleidoscope of information, molecular compositions, energy distributions, and quantum entanglement patterns that seemed to defy the known laws of physics. "We're not just looking at abandoned technology," Jack muttered, more to himself than to the team. "This is something else entirely." The Krell vessel had been discovered in the Magellan Drift, a region of space known for swallowing entire research expeditions. Multiple galactic civilizations had attempted to map this treacherous sector, but the region seemed to consume technological efforts like a voracious predator. Emily's voice crackled through the communication systems. "Proceed with extreme caution. Whatever this vessel is, it's more than just a derelict ship." As the shuttle drew closer, the alien vessel's surface began to reveal intricate patterns. What had initially appeared as random complexity now suggested something more, a technological ecosystem that was perhaps more alive than dead. Jack's neural link suddenly spiked, flooding his consciousness with a burst of information that felt almost like communication. For a fraction of a second, He experienced something beyond human perception, a glimpse of technological consciousness that existed in frequencies humans had never before understood. "We're not alone in here," he whispered, a chill running down his spine. The boarding team exchanged glances. They were no longer just salvage operators. They had become something else. Pioneers standing at the threshold of a technological frontier that could rewrite everything humanity understood about interstellar engineering. The hunt for understanding had truly begun. The interior of the Krell-Theory vessel defied every known principle of technological design. Corridors shifted like living tissue, molecular structures rearranging themselves in response to the human team's presence. Jack Wilson's neural link was overloading, processing information at speeds that pushed the boundaries of human cognitive capacity. "This isn't just advanced technology," he muttered, sweat beading on his forehead, despite the environmental suit's temperature regulation. "This is something entirely beyond our current understanding." Michael Chen's scanning equipment worked overtime, capturing data streams that seemed to write and rewrite themselves in real time. Quantum algorithms danced across his holographic displays, revealing and then concealing complex patterns that suggested something more than mere mechanical design. Emily Rodriguez watched from the Reclaimer's bridge, her cybernetic eye processing the telemetry data with inhuman precision. "Maintain containment protocols," she commanded. "We're walking through something that could vaporize us in milliseconds if we make a wrong move." The team moved carefully, each step calculated. Rachel Martinez, the communications specialist, carried specialized equipment designed to detect and interpret the most minute quantum communication signatures. Her hands moved deliberately across adaptive interface panels, creating protective quantum barriers with each progression. Suddenly, the corridor ahead began to transform. Molecular structures shifted, creating pathways that seemed to anticipate the team's movement. Where solid metal had existed moments before, translucent channels now pulsed with energy signatures that defied conventional physics. Jack's neural link captured fragments of something that felt almost like communication, not in words, but in complex quantum resonances. "Captain," Michael called, his voice tight with excitement, "the ship's internal structure is responding to our presence. It's not just reacting, it's adapting." The breakthrough came unexpectedly. As Jack approached a seemingly blank section of the corridor, his neural interface began to decode complex patterns of quantum entanglement. What had appeared to be a dead vessel was actually a sophisticated communication network, one that had been deliberately abandoned, not destroyed. The Krell-Theory didn't fail, Jack realized, his voice a mixture of awe and scientific precision. They walked away from something they couldn't control. Emily's voice crackled through the communication systems. "Elaborate." Jack's mind raced, neural implants processing the implications. "This vessel contains fragments of a quantum communication network that goes beyond anything in the current galactic database. It's not just a communication system. It's a potential gateway to understanding fundamental principles of interstellar communication." The team gathered around a central chamber that seemed to pulse with contained energy. Holographic displays erupted around them, showing complex quantum entanglement patterns that suggested multiple dimensions of communication simultaneously. Rachel's specialized equipment began to ping, detecting transmission patterns that should have been impossible. "I'm picking up residual communication signatures," she reported, "but they're not like anything we've ever seen. It's like the ship is still, talking to something." Michael's scanners revealed the true extent of the technological marvel. The vessel wasn't just a ship, it was a massive, living quantum communication hub that had been deliberately left in a state of quantum suspension. The Krell-Theory hadn't abandoned a failure. They had created something so advanced that they weren't prepared to control it. "We're looking at a technological breakthrough that could revolutionize everything we understand about interstellar communication," Jack whispered. The implications were staggering. If they could understand even a fraction of this technology, it would represent a quantum leap in human technological capabilities. Faster-than-light communication, multi-dimensional data transmission, quantum entanglement networks that could connect civilizations across unimaginable distances. Emily's voice cut through the excitement. Proceed with absolute caution. We're dealing with something that could either save humanity or destroy us in an instant. As if in response, the ship's internal structures began to shift more dramatically. Quantum pathways opened and closed, creating a complex dance of molecular reconfiguration that suggested something close to consciousness. The team stood at the threshold of a technological frontier that no human had ever approached. Jack's neural link suddenly flared, a burst of information that felt like a glimpse into something beyond human comprehension. For a fraction of a second, he understood something fundamental about the universe that no human had ever conceived. And then, just as quickly, the moment passed. The hunt for understanding had entered a new, unprecedented phase. The central research lab of the Reclaimer transformed into a hive of controlled chaos. Holographic displays surrounded Jack Wilson like a cathedral of technological possibility, each projection revealing another layer of the Krell-Theory vessel's impossible complexity. Molecular reconstruction units hummed with potential, adaptive interfaces shifting and recalibrating in real time. "We're not just decoding," Jack muttered, his neural link crackling with intense concentration. "We're having a conversation with technology that thinks." Michael Chen worked alongside him, his scanning equipment pushing the boundaries of human computational capabilities. Quantum analysis modules broke down each discovered fragment, revealing intricate networks that seemed to dance between existence and theoretical possibility. Emily Rodriguez watched from the command interface, her cybernetic eyes zooming in on microscopic details that would escape normal human perception. "Every piece we unlock," she said, her voice steady, "is a piece of a much larger puzzle." The team had discovered something far beyond a simple communication network. The Krell-Theory vessel contained fragments of a quantum entanglement system that could potentially link civilizations across impossible distances. It wasn't just technology. It was a fundamental reimagining of interstellar communication. Rachel Martinez managed the quantum buffer systems, her fingers moving with surgical precision across adaptive interface panels. "The transmission patterns," she reported, "suggest a communication method that doesn't just send information. It propagates consciousness." Jack's modifications became increasingly bold, where the Krell-Theory had seen an insurmountable barrier. He saw a challenge waiting to be conquered. Each alien system they decoded revealed more about the vessel's original purpose, a faster-than-light communication hub designed to connect distant galactic civilizations. But something was different. This wasn't just abandoned technology. It was a deliberate technological time capsule. "Look at this," Michael called, bringing up a holographic representation of a quantum transmission pathway. The energy signatures suggest the Krell-Theory didn't just leave this vessel. They were afraid of what they'd created. The research proceeded in layers. First, they isolated quantum communication signatures. Then they began to understand the fundamental principles behind the vessel's molecular reconfiguration capabilities. Each breakthrough was like solving an impossible mathematical equation that rewrote the laws of physics. Jack's neural link began to reveal patterns that suggested something more than technological design. "It's almost like the ship is alive," he said, his voice a mixture of scientific excitement and cautious respect. "Not organic life, but a form of technological consciousness we've never encountered." Emily's command came sharp and clear. "Isolate and analyze. We're not here to speculate. We're here to understand." The adaptive material reconstruction systems began to copy and modify fragments of the alien technology. Where most salvage operations would have destroyed valuable components, this team was performing microsurgery on technological systems that defied conventional understanding. Rachel's communication buffers detected something extraordinary. Quantum transmission signatures that seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously. "These aren't just communication pathways," she reported. "They're potential reality bridges." Michael's analysis revealed the true complexity. The vessel contained a quantum communication network that could potentially connect civilizations across not just space, but potentially different dimensional planes. The Krell theory had created something that pushed beyond the boundaries of known scientific understanding. They were trying to create a universal communication system. Jack realized, his neural link processing the implications, not just faster-than-light communication, but a method of transmission that transcends our current understanding of reality. The research lab became a crucible of human innovation. Experimental quantum interfaces, adaptive material reconstruction systems, and neural link technologies merged with fragments of alien design. Each modification was a calculated risk that pushed the boundaries of technological possibility. Emily watched the team work, understanding the magnitude of their discovery. This wasn't just about recovering alien technology. This was about rewriting the fundamental understanding of interstellar communication. As the day progressed, the team continued to unlock impossible secrets, quantum pathways that suggested communication methods beyond linear transmission, molecular reconfiguration techniques that could potentially revolutionize material science, communication systems that seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously. Jack looked up, a smile cutting across his concentrated expression. "We're not just salvaging," he said. "We're translating a language of the universe that no one has ever understood before." The hunt for knowledge continued, each moment bringing humanity closer to a technological breakthrough that could change everything. The news spread faster than light itself. Quantum communication networks buzzed with rumors of the human salvage operation, each transmission carrying a mixture of disbelief, curiosity, and growing concern. The Galactic communication nexus lit up with encrypted channels, diplomatic protocols being activated across multiple star systems. Transmission intercepts revealed the growing tension. The Krell theory diplomatic corps was mobilizing, their vast bureaucratic machinery grinding into motion with unprecedented speed. Ambassador Krellnack's holographic transmission to the Galactic Council crackled with barely contained anxiety. Humanity has accessed technology that was deliberately sealed away, the alien ambassador's translucent form declared, mandibles clicking with each carefully constructed word. They cannot comprehend the potential consequences of their actions. Emily Rodriguez received the diplomatic pressure with calculated calm. The Reclaimer's communication systems filtered through layers of encrypted transmissions, each message revealing more about the growing international concern than the senders likely intended. "Diplomatic channels are lighting up," Rachel Martinez reported, her fingers dancing across quantum communication interfaces. "We're receiving direct communication warnings from at least 7 different galactic governments." Jack Wilson studied the incoming transmissions, his neural link parsing through layers of diplomatic language. "They're not just worried," he observed. "They're terrified." Michael Chen's scanning equipment continued to analyze the Krell theory vessel, seemingly oblivious to the political storm brewing around their discovery. Each new data point revealed another layer of the vessel's extraordinary complexity. The Galactic Council's emergency session was unprecedented. Representatives from dozens of advanced civilizations gathered in a quantum-linked conference space, their holographic projections creating a mosaic of alien physiologies and technological interfaces. "The humans have accessed restricted technology," a Zorn theory representative declared, its crystalline form flickering with agitated energy patterns. "They must be stopped." But stopping the Reclaimer's crew was easier said than done. Emily Rodriguez understood the political landscape better than most. Each diplomatic warning was a confirmation of the discovery's significance. The more they tried to shut down the operation, the more important the discovery became. "We're not asking for permission," she transmitted back to the Galactic Council. "We're sharing a technological breakthrough." The diplomatic pressure intensified. Economic sanctions were discussed. Communication restrictions were proposed. The full weight of galactic political machinery began to turn its attention to a single human salvage vessel. Jack's neural link picked up fragments of classified transmissions. The Krell theory were more than just concerned. They were desperate to prevent something. Fragments of quantum communication suggested a deep, almost primal fear of the technology they had abandoned. They didn't just leave this vessel, Jack realized. They were running from something. Michael's analysis continued unabated. The vessel's quantum communication systems suggest multiple layers of technological development that go beyond anything in the current galactic database. We're looking at a communication method that doesn't just transmit information, it potentially transmits consciousness. Rachel managed the incoming communications, her specialized quantum buffers filtering through layers of diplomatic noise. They're trying to create a communication blackout, she reported. But they can't fully block our transmissions. The reclaimer became the center of a developing storm. Diplomatic channels, economic networks, and communication systems all focused on a single human salvage vessel floating near an abandoned alien ship. Emily understood the game being played. Each diplomatic warning, each attempt to shut down their operation, was an admission of the discovery's importance. The more they tried to stop the humans, the more significant the discovery became. "Continue research," she commanded her team. "We're not stopping." The quantum communication networks continued to buzz. Rumors, speculation, and diplomatic warnings created a complex web of information. But at the center of it all was a simple truth. Humanity had discovered something extraordinary. Jack looked up from his research, a slight smile cutting across his focused expression. "They're afraid," he said simply. "And they should be." The hunt for understanding had become something more. It was now a challenge to the established technological and political order of the galaxy. And humanity was just getting started. Tension mounted as the Reclaimer's research team entered the most dangerous phase of their mission. The ship's interior had become a living laboratory of technological possibility, with molecular structures that seemed to breathe and shift with each careful investigation. Jack Wilson stood at the center of a holographic maelstrom, Neuralink pushing the boundaries of human cognitive capabilities. Adaptive interface panels surrounded him, each displaying fragments of quantum communication systems that defied conventional understanding. "We're not just reconstructing," Jack muttered, sweat beading on his forehead. "We're having a conversation with the fundamental language of the universe." Michael Chen's scanning equipment worked with inhuman precision. Quantum algorithms danced across his displays, revealing complex patterns that suggested something far beyond standard technological design. Each scan was a delicate operation, like performing microscopic brain surgery on a living technological organism. Emily Rodriguez watched from the command interface, her cybernetic eyes zooming into molecular-level details. "Precision is everything," she reminded the team. One wrong move could collapse the entire quantum network. The reconstruction process was nothing short of miraculous. Where the Krell theory had seen an insurmountable challenge, Jack saw a puzzle waiting to be solved. His modifications became increasingly bold, each adjustment a calculated risk that pushed the boundaries of known scientific understanding. Rachel Martinez managed the quantum stabilization systems, her hands moving with surgical precision. Quantum buffers created protective fields that prevented catastrophic system collapses. "The communication pathways," she reported, "are more like living neural networks than traditional technological systems." Suddenly, the ship's internal structures began to respond more dramatically. Molecular pathways realigned, creating complex geometric patterns that suggested a form of technological consciousness. The abandoned vessel was no longer just an object of study. It was becoming an active participant in its own reconstruction. "It's adapting to our research," Michael observed, his voice a mixture of scientific excitement and cautious concern. "The ship is learning from our attempts to understand it." Jack's neural link captured something extraordinary. Fragments of quantum communication that suggested multiple dimensions of transmission simultaneously. "We're not just rebuilding a communication system," he realized. "We're translating a language that exists beyond our current understanding of reality." Emily's command was sharp and clear. "Maintain full containment protocols. Whatever we're dealing with, we cannot lose control." The research proceeded in layers of increasing complexity. Quantum communication signatures were isolated, analyzed, and carefully reconstructed. The team developed hybrid interfaces that merged human computational thinking with the alien vessel's fundamental design principles. Experimental quantum systems began to come online. Molecular reconstruction units hummed with potential, creating protective barriers that prevented uncontrolled quantum cascade events. Each breakthrough was like solving an impossible mathematical equation that rewrote the fundamental laws of physics. The Krell theory didn't just create a communication system, Jack explained to the team. They were attempting to build a universal translation mechanism that could connect consciousness across unimaginable distances. Michael's analysis revealed the true depth of the technological marvel. The vessel contained quantum pathways that could potentially link civilizations not just across space, but potentially across different dimensional planes. Rachel's communication buffers detected transmission signatures that existed in multiple states simultaneously. "These aren't just communication channels," she reported. "They're potential reality bridges." The reconstruction lab became a crucible of human innovation. Experimental quantum interfaces merged with fragments of alien design, each modification a calculated risk that pushed the boundaries of technological possibility. Jack looked up, his neural link processing information at speeds that would have overwhelmed traditional computer systems. "We're rewriting the fundamental understanding of communication," he said, a smile cutting across his concentrated expression. Emily understood the magnitude of their work. This wasn't just about recovering alien technology. This was about creating a new understanding of how civilizations could potentially communicate across the vastness of the universe. As the hours passed, the team continued to unlock impossible secrets. Quantum pathways suggested communication methods beyond linear transmission. Molecular reconfiguration techniques promised to revolutionize material science. Communication systems began to emerge that seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously. "We're not just salvaging," Jack whispered, his eyes reflecting the complex holographic displays. "We're learning the language of the cosmos." The hunt for knowledge continued, each moment bringing humanity closer to a technological breakthrough that could change everything forever. The moment of activation arrived with a silent explosion of quantum energy. Holographic displays erupted around the Reclaimer's research lab, creating a cathedral of light and possibility that defied human understanding. Jack Wilson stood at the epicenter, his neural link crackling with an intensity that threatened to overwhelm even his augmented consciousness. "Initializing quantum communication matrix," he announced, his voice steady despite the magnitude of the moment. Michael Chen's scanning equipment went into overdrive. Quantum algorithms danced across his displays, capturing transmission patterns that seemed to exist in multiple realities simultaneously. The alien vessel's systems responded, not with mechanical precision, but with something closer to anticipation. Emily Rodriguez watched from the command interface, her cybernetic eyes zooming into microscopic details that would escape normal human perception. "Full containment protocols," she commanded. "We're stepping into unknown territory." The quantum communication network came alive in stages. First, a subtle vibration that seemed to pass through the molecular structure of the ship itself. Then, a cascade of energy signatures that defied traditional understanding of transmission and reception. Rachel Martinez managed the quantum buffer systems, her fingers moving with surgical precision across adaptive interface panels. "Transmission signatures are stabilizing," she reported. "But these aren't like any communication systems we've ever seen." Jack's neural link captured something extraordinary. Fragments of quantum communication that suggested multiple dimensions of transmission simultaneously. "We're not just activating a communication network," he realized. "We're opening a window into a completely different way of understanding existence." The reconstruction they had spent weeks developing began to reveal its true potential. What had initially appeared to be a communication system was something far more profound. A potential bridge between consciousnesses, between realities. Holographic displays showed quantum pathways that twisted and turned in impossible geometries. Energy signatures danced across molecular interfaces, creating patterns that suggested a form of communication beyond human comprehension. The Krell theory didn't just create a technology, Michael observed, his voice a mixture of scientific excitement and profound respect. They were attempting to build a universal translation mechanism. Emily understood the magnitude of the moment. This was more than a technological breakthrough. This was humanity's first genuine step into a larger, more complex understanding of communication and existence. The quantum communication network began to stabilize. Transmission signatures that had previously existed in chaotic, unpredictable patterns now formed coherent, albeit alien, structures. It was as if the technology was learning, adapting to human interaction. Rachel's communication buffers detected something unprecedented. "We're receiving transmission signatures," she reported, "but they're not coming from any known source. It's like the network is communicating with itself." Jack's modifications had transformed the alien vessel from an abandoned technological artifact into a living communication hub. Molecular structures shifted and realigned, creating complex geometric patterns that suggested a form of technological consciousness. "We're not just receiving information," Jack explained to the team. "We're establishing a dialogue with a communication system that exists beyond our current understanding of reality." The research lab became a crucible of human innovation and alien complexity. Experimental quantum interfaces merged with the vessel's fundamental design, each modification revealing another layer of an impossible technological puzzle. Suddenly, the quantum communication network expanded. Transmission signatures began to cascade across multiple dimensional planes, creating a web of communication that defied linear understanding. It was as if the network was showing them glimpses of something far larger than they could comprehend. Emily's command cut through the technological wonder. "Maintain focus. We're here to understand, not to get lost." Michael's analysis revealed the true depth of their discovery. The vessel contained quantum pathways that could potentially link civilizations not just across space, but potentially across different dimensional planes. It was a communication method that transcended traditional understanding of transmission and reception. Jack looked up, his neural link processing information at speeds that would have overwhelmed traditional computer systems. "We're rewriting the fundamental understanding of communication," he said, a smile cutting across his concentrated expression. As the hours passed, the team continued to unlock impossible secrets. Quantum pathways suggested communication methods beyond linear transmission. The alien network seemed to pulse with a form of consciousness, not organic, but something equally alive and complex. "We're not just salvaging," Jack whispered, his eyes reflecting the complex holographic displays. "We're learning the language of the cosmos." The hunt for knowledge had reached its most critical moment. Humanity stood on the threshold of a technological breakthrough that could change everything forever. The Galactic Confederation chamber fell silent as Emily Rodriguez stepped forward. A holographic displays behind her told a story that would rewrite the understanding of interstellar communication forever. Representatives from dozens of advanced civilizations watched, some with wonder, others with barely contained fear. Jack Wilson stood beside her, his neural link still crackling with the quantum communication signatures they had unlocked. The Krell-Theory vessel was no longer just a piece of abandoned technology. It was a testament to human potential, to the ability to transform the impossible into the inevitable. "We didn't just recover a technology," Emily began, her voice cutting through the tension. "We translated a language of the universe that no one believed could be understood." The holographic displays erupted with complex quantum transmission patterns. Michael Chen's analysis revealed layers of communication that defied traditional understanding, pathways that could connect civilizations across unimaginable distances, potentially bridging not just space, but different dimensional planes. Ambassador Krellnak, representing the civilization that had abandoned the vessel, looked utterly defeated. The human team had done what the Krell-Theory considered impossible, not just understanding their most complex technological system, but improving upon it. Rachel Martinez managed the quantum communication interfaces, her fingers moving with surgical precision. Each transmission revealed another layer of the breakthrough, a communication method that was more than just a technology. It was a potential bridge between consciousnesses. "The vessel we recovered," Jack explained to the assembled representatives, "is more than a communication system. It's a fundamental reimagining of how civilizations can interact. The implications were staggering. The quantum communication network they had reconstructed offered faster-than-light transmission capabilities that made current galactic communication technologies look like primitive smoke signals. More importantly, it suggested a method of communication that could potentially link consciousnesses across unimaginable distances. Emily understood the magnitude of their achievement. This wasn't just a technological breakthrough. This was humanity's declaration to the galaxy, a statement that they were no longer just another emerging civilization, but a force to be reckoned with. The Kreltheri diplomatic corps sat in stunned silence, their most closely guarded technological secret. A communication system they had deliberately abandoned out of fear had been not just recovered, but transformed by humans. Michael's final analysis revealed the true depth of their discovery. The quantum pathways they had reconstructed suggested communication methods that went beyond traditional transmission. It was a system that could potentially translate between different forms of consciousness, bridging gaps that previous civilizations had considered insurmountable. "We're not just sharing information," Jack said, his voice carrying the weight of their discovery. "We're creating a method of understanding that transcends current limitations." The holographic displays showed the quantum communication network in its full complexity, a web of transmission pathways that twisted and turned in geometries that defied traditional understanding. Each pathway was a potential bridge between civilizations, between realities. Representatives from various star systems began to understand the true magnitude of the human achievement. This wasn't just a technological breakthrough. This was a fundamental reimagining of communication itself. Emily Rodriguez stood as a symbol of human potential. Where other civilizations saw barriers, humans saw opportunities. Where others had run from complexity, humans had dove headfirst into the unknown. "We don't just adapt," she stated, her voice cutting through the chamber's tension. "We transform." The quantum communication network pulsed behind her, a living testament to human ingenuity. Each transmission signature told a story of determination, of the ability to look at the impossible and see only a challenge waiting to be conquered. Jack's neural link captured the moment perfectly. They had done more than recover an alien technology. They had opened a window into a new way of understanding the universe. The Galactic Confederation would never be the same. Humanity had just changed the rules of interstellar communication forever. As the presentation concluded, one thing became crystal clear. Humanity was no longer just another emerging civilization. They were a force of transformation, capable of turning the most complex challenges into unprecedented opportunities. The hunt for understanding had become something more. It was a declaration of human potential. And they were just getting started.